quick WEFTEC moderator training and briefing. The purpose of this webinar is to provide you with some basic information on how to use the Oasis system to gain information on your speakers, then briefly go over how to be a successful moderator and highlight some of the resources available to you. One quick housekeeping note: if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the system and we will do our best to respond. We should have enough time, but if we aren't able to get to your question, we will email you a response afterwards. Let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. Today we're going to cover some updates where we are in the process for speakers, in the timeline for them, what you should be doing as a moderator, what are other trainings and resources available to you, and then, of course, very importantly, how to use the Oasis system. Updates. What has been happening at WEF? First of all abstract-based speakers have been notified. The notification went out March 25th, and they had until April 20th to respond. The online system is now closed to the abstract speakers. The invited speakers will get their notification hopefully tomorrow. Worst case, they'll get it on Monday. The next opportunity for the abstract-based speakers to make changes will start in early June, around the 1st. And then what is happening with posters? You know, we've had quite a few changes over the years back and forth with posters, experimenting with different formats and interactivity. This year, posters are being offered for anyone, and a couple sessions do have them, and all alternates have been offered an opportunity to do a poster. However, the format is only traditional. There are no electronic posters. Posters must be done in the traditional paper format. Instead of electronic posters this year, we had a second call for IKEs, or interactive knowledge exchange. And we are doing a session Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 12 that is video session, and each one is 10 minutes, and that's replacing the electronic posters. And they're not even posters. They're not associated with posters, but it's an electronic medium that took the place and is a different format concept. If you have questions about it, you can come talk to me, Mary Ann Linder, and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. But just know that we are doing traditional posters in conjunction with all of our sessions this year. Important dates for speakers. One of the biggest tasks for a moderator is to help WEF keep our speakers going and remembering their dates. April 20th was the deadline that we asked our abstract-based speakers to have the preliminary information uploaded and updated. Well, what do I mean by that? That was that they confirmed that they are presenting, they updated the list of their authors, confirmed who will be presenting, minor edits to the abstract text, that they entered a biography, entered 3 presentation takeaways, and uploaded a primary speaker resume or CV. We at WEF use the resume or CV to send to our continuing education partners in each state. We really need that. Nothing to do with you guys, nothing for you guys to worry about. It's just used for continuing ed and making sure we get that credit and make sure we can give that out to everyone. May 12th. This deadline relates to the invited speakers. That's going to be the date that they have to upload their information. And it's very much the same information we're going to ask. The only difference is that'll be the date that we ask them to actually upload some abstract text. And then, probably one of the most critical deadlines is July 13th. Papers and copyright forms are due via the Oasis system. We don't like them to come to us via email. We like them to be actually uploaded in the system. That way it's a little bit easier for us to track. So, you're a moderator. Now what? I recommend, if you're actually the moderator, that one of the first steps that you take is you reach out to your assistant moderators. If you don't have one, you'll probably be getting one in the coming months or so. WEF reaches out to several groups to ask for additional volunteers. But if you have one, Please use your assistant moderator in helping contact your speakers. Perhaps divide up the different reminders to the speakers. The assistant moderators want to be helpful. Don't wait to contact them until you get to WEFTEC. This is a grooming role for them to help them eventually step into a moderator role. So please use them. After today's training, log on to Oasis. Get out your speaker contact information, read the abstracts and bios if they've entered them. And if you can't figure out how to get into Oasis after today's training, please contact WEF staff. Either myself or Lauren Henretti can help you. If you wait to contact us till September, though, and try to get into Oasis, it's a really busy time, and we're probably going to have trouble reaching out to you and helping you. So try to reach us now if you need some help with Oasis. And after you have the speaker contact info, reach out to them. Introduce yourself and let them know a little bit about the session and how it was going to come together and what the thoughts were of the symposia and putting it together. Next steps. Read the moderator checklist WEF provided. It was in that initial email that came from speakers@wef.org, and it's also on weftec.org presenter information. That's a great resource to help guide you in the process. Then in mid-June, please start reminding them that paper and copyright forms are due July 13th. Copyright forms, they can start collecting early. They'll be able to upload them beginning June 1st. So again, if you start reminding them in June, it'll help us. And we ask that you do not grant extensions on papers. Send them to speakers on wef.org for that request. It may seem minor, but it helps if we can grant those and keep track, especially because the papers fall into the proceedings, and that's a very big project. And with 600 to 700 papers out there, one can really hold up and mess up the process. And also, note this, extensions are given for true emergencies, not poor planning emergencies. So please let your speakers know that. They are meant for true emergencies. And so if you're reminding them in June that the papers are due, they can maybe get started again. On-site, speaker briefing. Plan on attending your speaker briefing. This is truly mandatory. If you can't attend, make sure your assistant moderator is there. And we've attached the schedule here, and your speakers have it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. If there's a real problem, come to myself or Lauren, and we can figure out something with you. But this is really critical that you're there. We give you a lot of valuable information, and your speakers really use that as a time to see you, to feel comfortable, and to verify that everything's okay with your session. It's very, very important. What are some of the resources? Well, we have an on-demand moderator training available. And then for those that need it, we have today's training that will be posted in a couple days for review, and so you could access it, fast forward, and get to, again, how to use Oasis. We also post your checklist on the presenter information page, and we're here for you. And if you need help, we can always put you in touch with people who've been moderators before, or your symposia chair or vice chair. So there's a lot of people here to help you out and make sure you're successful, because a successful moderator makes a successful session for WEFTEC, and that's our end goal, is truly to have that experience. So keeping right on time, onto Oasis. So what is in this massive system of Oasis? So your session details, your speaker contact information, the speaker's abstract is currently information. Abstract is in there. Their paper, once it's uploaded, their copyright forms when uploaded, and not on this list, but their bio whenever they write it. Now, a side note on the bio. WEF, at the speaker briefing and in the speaker briefing room at WEFTEC, will provide you with copies of all of your speaker bios if we have received them. So you don't need to go in the system and write them down. We will provide them if we have received them. A couple little notes on Oasis. In your email from speakers@wef.org, you should have your username, password, and the link. If you ever lose it, just email speakers@wef.org and we'll get it to you. Don't use Mozilla, Firefox or Google as your browser. It really works best with Explorer. Other sites, sometimes you get some funny things that happen that you don't expect to happen. It'll open, but I can't promise. And then lastly, Oasis has many ways to get information out. The problem is I can't promise you'll get all the information or what you intended to get if you don't use the routes that I'm going to show you today. So we really recommend certain pathways. For those of you who did the review system, you know we strongly recommend certain routes or certain ways of doing it, and there's usually a reason for it. So before we go into Oasis, just a couple last-minute reminders. In general, any changes to you as the moderator in that role, to your company email, phone number, etc., please email us at speakers@wef.org. You cannot go in and change that. A speaker can go in and change things themselves, but a moderator, assistant moderator cannot. Please notify WEF if your speaker withdraws or if for some reason you guys have to change the order of your speakers. Please come to us. Sometimes that doesn't happen, so we rely on you. So really quickly, or not, I'm going to jump over to Oasis for you and show you. So you should have received a link, and it looks like this. So you're going to come in and enter your password, and you should have access to your session. Now, I have access to all of them, so it looks a little bit longer, and you will have access to the sessions you've been assigned. So what you do is you come in, and I'm just going to go in and find one. You click on the title of your session, and this takes you in. If you come here, you can find your session description, and this is always good to read. This way you kind of know about the session a little bit. These are your marketing purposes. We let each symposia pick up to 3. And these are also known as the focus pages. Whenever it hits the mobile app, this is the focus areas that it will be found under. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's these. Session marketing purposes are the focus pages. Sorry about that. Here you go. These are the focus areas that you will find in the mobile app, your session under. And then if you come here, this is a quick look at your session that has all of the speaking time for each paper and the authors and paper title here. And this is just a quick overview of it. But to drill down, what you have to do, abstract submission, this means that your papers came in via the abstract route. So you'll click on this. And here's where you actually get all your submitters' emails and then their phone. And hopefully they entered a phone. If you can't reach them via email and their phone isn't in here, then come to us and we'll help you. And then if you click on the title, it brings up another page, and here is their abstract. So you can read their abstract, learn a little bit more about it. And if you scroll down to the bottom, at the very bottom is the speaker biography. Again, WEF will print these out for you and with some other session information close in. Right here is the resume. You don't need to do anything about that. Just know it's here. But this is the same area that the paper will appear and their copyright forms. Again, you don't need to worry about those, but paper you might want to read just to help you understand the session a little bit better and the direction that they're going. And their emails. If you were to have any invited speakers, they can be found on the tab that's marked Speakers. If you don't have any, it remains empty. Let's go find another session. Let's see if we can have any that have a good one with some invited. Okay, let's try. This one has at least one person who's invited. And it has some assistant moderators. So let's look, because you will see on this one, he's invited, so his information appears under the Speaker tab. The other thing I want to show you is if you have assistant moderators, all of their information is here. So you can come in here to get their emails, and if we have a phone associated with them, so you can come in here and call them. And likewise, as an assistant moderator, I would encourage you, if you have not heard from your moderator in the next month, please reach out to them. It's a two-way communication. They may be busy, so just reach out and ask, hey, how can I help too? So please feel free to do that. This tab, Session Header, you're welcome to go in and look at it. It's just a quick way for you, and this is a bad sample, sorry about that, for you to look at, let's go in here, click on it, Session Header, to look at the session details. So you can look at the session description, which session, which focus pages it's going to appear in the mobile app. And again, that also gets used in some of the program it used to, as well as for continuing education purposes. So that's just a good way to easily read. Sometimes this gets a little small. And again, this page is just your intro, doesn't have any contact info. This is one that I said if you click on it, it brings up information, but if you look, it doesn't have, once the papers get uploaded, it won't have the papers here. So it's not always the best way to upload or check everything whenever you click on these. I can't promise that it'll be there in the summer right there, the paper. So please go in through the Abstract Submission tab to make sure that you get the information that you need. So I think that's Oasis. It's pretty straightforward. You only have access to those you're moderating and assistant moderating. One note, if for some reason you have to change which session you're moderating or assistant moderating, we don't have a great way to remove that from your Oasis queue, so you will still see it later, but don't panic. We know that you're not moderating it. Your name will be removed, but we just can't remove it from your view. So I think that's it. Are there any questions? Well, if not, please feel free to email speakers@wef.org or contact Mary Ann Linder or Lauren Henretti. We greatly, greatly appreciate all the work that you do. Please truly know that we couldn't do this without you. WEFTEC is the great success it is because of all the hard work you do. And have a great day, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.